results, now that you get this stuff, we take all your tests, right? We run a lot of tests. So let me tell you what they are. Number one is your genetics. Number two is blood. And we run two blood 1 and blood 2. Number 3 is urine. And we run two urine 1, urine 2. And number 4 is your stool. Okay? So typically those are the 4 groups of tests we run, ending up into about 6 different tests. So for blood 1, we've just done Boston Heart. For blood 2, we run Vibrant America. For urine 1, we run doctor's data. And we run Dutch Test Plus. And then for this, we run Genova. Right? And for that, we do pathway genomics. Okay? Those are the tests that we run for everybody. It allows us to peel the onion and to really know what's going on inside the onion. So when we take these results, right? Number 1, what we call F1, is based on age and gender. So we give you a prescription, and typically that prescription is the RDA plus probiotics plus omega-3 plus extra D3 plus K. Mandatory. Everybody who comes here is on F1. Okay, and that's what F1 is. Okay, don't worry. So you're going to understand slowly. Don't worry. When we don't have a test after this. The test is your life. Right? Then, if we find any any green that is tending towards yellow, any yellow, and any red, we then generate F2 and F3. F2 is to immediately address issues of your lipids and inflammation. F3 is really going into what we call the building blocks. And here typically we'll have the medical foods. So I'm not going to go into detail, but that's how we've created the architecture. Okay? So in F3 we want to really go look, for example, if you have sarcopenia, like most women have, where they have fat and no muscle, that you have to build muscle, we have to give you protein. So if you are above 60, you should be taking amino acids when you exercise, whether it's walking. If not, you lose the fat and you don't build muscle. You must build muscle. If you don't build muscle, you're prone to falling and hurting yourself. It's the number 1 reason why most people above 70 die. They fall and they hurt themselves and they die from the fall. And the reason is because they're not strong enough. It's about muscle. Are we making this very clear, guys? Very, very important. Okay? F2 is we're intervening. You're short of something here, and we want to updose you very, very quickly. Down here, we are trying to rebuild. So, for example, we have a couple of medical foods that do a couple of things. Number 1, they rebuild your GI. because rebuilding of the GI requires persistent effort. It's not just probiotics or prebiotics, it's not enough. You really need to spend time rebuilding what we call the endothelial walls for the GI tract. Because if not, the GI tract is susceptible to leaky gut, or what we call the tight junctions breaking, right? Number two, we want to reduce the flames of inflammation. And then number three, I cannot remember. I think that's the protein, yes. Where we're looking at the big items like protein, fat, or glucose management and things like that. Things that, because for a lot of people, they really cannot manage the right kind of glucose. So our glucose control medical food helps you manage it without you worrying about testing your glucose levels all the time. That's what the medical food is. So you don't have to worry about it. If not, for a lot of people, you have to test your glucose all the time, right? Because the glucose measurement is a very important measurement. It cannot go above 100 and it cannot fall below 70, I think. Is that correct, guys? I think that's the range. When it's below, it's hyperglycemia. When it's above, it's hypoglycemia. So the way the architecture was made is very tight. You have to be in that range. So when most patients come here, we do that glucose test because it's a very important marker. If there's too much glucose in your blood or there's too little, there's a problem. Okay? So the glucose food that we have helps you maintain the right appropriate level so that you don't develop a lot of other chronic illnesses. Okay? So I'm not just trying to sell you something. I'm trying to help you manage a very important aspect of chronic health. Right? And then we have medical foods for GI tract. Right? All of us have problems. It takes about a year to rebuild your GI tract properly. Then your probiotics and your prebiotics work very well. Then you add on top of that your digestive enzymes. So you should always have that every day. Your digestive enzymes, your probiotics, and your prebiotics, or you eat a lot of fruit, things with fiber. And if you don't do that, then just buy some Metamucil or get some prebiotics. Right? Do they eat Metamucil here? It's from England, yeah.
No, they do.
Oh, all right. So they call it Metamucil?
Yes.
Okay. Questions?
Yes, please.
Can I get some water, please? Thank you.
If somebody wanna...
Oh, there's water in this thing. No, it's all right. There's water in my office. I kept it there in my can. Yes.
If somebody wanna consume medical food, he need to prepare himself, his body, to accept the medical food.
No, that's not true.
No.
Yeah. The interesting thing about medical food is that they're all vitamins and minerals and broken down amino acids and fats and carbohydrates. So it's been broken down so that the body doesn't have to suffer a lot of digestive issues. So when you mix your medical food and you take it, it's absorbed immediately. It doesn't need broke down. It's already in the amino acids. Thank you.
You think the astronaut...
No, I'm not thinking.
No, I'm saying. The astronauts, they eat medical food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because first of all, the challenge is that if you eat a lot of protein and carbohydrate when you're in space, your digestive system is already compromised a lot. So they give them those prepared meals, and it's mostly medical food. Yeah. Okay? Because they're not really moving about. They are practically locked up in the capsule. Yeah, so even exercise and everything is limited. Any other questions? So when we write your prescription, or what we call recommendation, the recommendation is really to bring your nutrient status to the right place. And then we'll go through those 8 ingredients, right? That's why we talk about hydration, we talk about exercise, we talk about sleep, We have not been enforcing those other areas a lot because most people are nutrient deficient. So we really focus on two areas: nutrient deficiency and toxicity and sleep. I think those are the really three areas that we really focus on here because we think that that's where a lot of people need more help, right? Exercise, you know how to do that. Most people don't know how to sleep, and most people don't know how to detoxify. So we really spend more time on those three ingredients than anything else. Is that making clear? Okay. Any questions? You're good? Are you ready for run all these tests? So, Beate, how does this all sound? You get it? So when I come back, I'm going to run other classes on urine, or whatever you call it, because we want to look at toxicity in doctors' data, and we want to look at your hormone systems. We want to look at your adrenals and your sex hormones, because those are really critical enzymes in the biochemical process. Then the stool is really where we find the integrity of your GI system, right? So when we run this, because some people have asked me, why don't you use X-ray or MRI? And I say I don't.
That's not a cellular level.
Because all they're showing me is damage. We already know everybody has damage, some level of damage. It would show us at the biochemical level what's causing the damage. That's what we're more interested in. So if you have arthritis, it will show in your inflammation markers. And that's what we need to address. Not the, you have arthritis, I look at the picture, so what? It's not really valuable, it's a waste of money. Yes, and we would see that in your blood markers. Do you see that? That's why I'm not interested in imaging. It's a waste of money. Because when we run the blood biomarkers, we're going to know what's going on. And we're going to then support that, right? And then once the biomarkers are back in place, so let's be clear about this. That's why we've introduced stem cells. Because sometimes the nutrients, those ingredients I talk about, cannot repair and regenerate tissue that's already damaged through injury. Do you understand that? We can stop. That's all this is doing. It stops or slow down. But to reverse, we need stem cells. You understand? So for example, if you look at what Dr. Yi does with Alzheimer's, the Bredesen protocol for Alzheimer's, the best results it gets is about 70%, but it actually slows down the cognitive function. To achieve 100% almost, which is to restore your full cognitive, requires stem cell to rebuild all the infrastructure back in place. Is that making sense? So that's why stem cell is a significant addition to our portfolio of interventions.
Reverse it with stem cells?
It's strongly possible. The challenge with the brain is that it's the blood-brain barrier. And we know that the real challenge in the brain is really good fats. If the body has good fats, right? Because I ran a lecture here on tight junctions. Zonulin is the release chemical that opens the tight junctions. It also goes and opens the blood-brain barrier. And that's how toxins get into the brain. Yeah, viruses get into the brain. So, first of all, you need to close those junctions and then try and remove or kill those viruses. So, it's and that's why amyloid plaque and all of that,
It's
the brain's protection.
Protection from the inflammation. So the
Neuroinflammation, we call it.
patient outside is get rid of the amyloid plaque, but if you do not solve the why you have amyloid plaque, just getting rid of it doesn't really solve the problem. So it works sometime, but eventually they produce more amyloid plaque. That's not working.
Okay, so it's the issue of neuroinflammation. And the source of inflammation, which is the biggest challenge with chronic illness, comes from the GI. It does two damaging things. It distracts the immune system, because 70% of the immune system is focused on cleaning the bullshit that we eat and drink, right? And so if this is all clean, the immune system now can pay attention to all the ruffians that are causing trouble in other parts of the body, right? Like the brain and all of that. But then the second thing that it does is that it accumulates a lot of toxicity in the body that becomes very dangerous for us overall. So inflammation is a really, really terrible thing. And the only ways we can fix inflammation is to fix that, fix your nutrients, fix your sleep, and get you to distress. Okay? That's at the core. And so once you fix your gut, because that's one of the things we're going to do once all your results come, when I come back, is to now work on getting your gut ready. Once your gut is ready, a lot of the pain and all that stuff disappears, because that's where it's coming from. Are we clear about that? Inflammation and pain is a very big challenge to all of us, and it comes from the gut. Okay? So I was going to finish by sharing with you, did you make this paper? Yeah, I wanted to share with you some reading material from the guy we call the godfather of functional medicine. So he talks about redefining disease. So I want you to go read this. So open the second page quickly. We'll just go through it. Some of the things that I've been talking about. He says there are two questions that you ask when somebody has. Look at this table on the second page.
Table 1.
Yeah, table 1. The two questions are, does this person need to be rid of something, such as toxins, allergy, infection, poor diet, or stress, right? Those are the causes. Does this person have some unmet individual need that must be filled for optimal function, such as food, or what we call macronutrients, protein, fats, carbohydrates, fiber, or nature-made molecules, which are the micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, accessory or conditionally essential nutrients and hormones, light, water, air, sleep, deep relaxation, movement, rhythm, love, community, connection, meaning, and purpose, right? You see, all of those things make people sick too. That's why they say you can be love sick, right? Then he talks about the causes of illness, which we talked about, and then it looks at the 7 core physiological systems and clinical imbalances. And if you look at that, you will see that they're talking about a lot of, see number 4, immune and inflammatory imbalances. Then number 5, digestive, absorptive, and gut microbiological imbalances. Right? Lots of imbalances, and those are the things that we go to fix. Okay? That's what I wanted you to see in this report. And then you can go to page 12, which is this page, and it looks at the core imbalances, and then it tells you some of the emerging diagnostics that we're doing around those things. Okay? It's just a research paper that shows you the emerging, where's the future of medicine is going. I thought you should have that so you can read it while I'm away. We have Dr. Yi and Evian will be running classes next week on Wednesday evening, on Thursday evening. And what is the topics for next week? Family, health, and fitness. So if you want to join us in the evenings, we use this opportunity to start building community. That's my intention. And in that community, we begin to focus on talking about our health and learning and really understanding, So you don't have to tell me anymore that my doctor said. Instead, you're going to say, I know, because it is my body. That's where we want to take you, so that you know, because it is your body. Not your doctor said, because your doctor doesn't live inside your body. He doesn't know anything about your body. Right?
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
So no Saturday tomorrow next week.
There will be Saturday. Sorry, I didn't mention that. There will be Saturday next week until I get back. Yes, they'll be running Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate you being here and being very, very good community members. And for people who failed the questions I was asking, we will be collecting $10 at the door. Yeah, $300 will be collecting at the door. So, Biate, and can you write your checks or questions you didn't answer? And then we'll collect it at the door. Thank
I don't
you.
have check.
I don't either.
We collect cash too. Thank you, guys. Do you want to quickly explain anything for the BIMA?
Yeah.
Okay.